Picture this. You wake up one morning, grab your phone, and try to check your email. You enter your password, but nothing happens. You try again, still nothing. Then you see it. A message that makes your heart sink. This account no longer exists. All your photos from the last 10 years, gone. Every important document you saved to Google Drive, vanished. Years of emails, contacts, calendars, everything you trusted Google to keep safe. All of it permanently deleted. And here's the worst part. Google warned you multiple times. But those emails went to an account you never checked. And now it's too late. This isn't some dystopian nightmare. This is happening right now to thousands of people around the world. And if you're not careful, you could be next. So before we go any further, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually logged into that old Gmail account? You know the one. The account you created back in high school or college. The one you used to use for everything before you switched to a different email. Or maybe it's that backup account you made just in case something happened to your main one. Can you remember the last time you opened it? If you can't remember, or if it's been more than a year, you need to pay very close attention to what I'm about to tell you. Because Google has been quietly deleting millions of inactive accounts, and they're not stopping. In fact, the deletions are accelerating. Right now, as you listen to this, someone somewhere is losing access to years of memories, important documents, and irreplaceable data. And the scary thing is, most people have no idea this is even happening until it's already too late. So in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about Google's account purge. I'll explain exactly why this is happening, who's at risk, and most importantly, what you need to do right now to protect your data before it disappears forever. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is Google doing, and why are they doing it? Back in May of 2023, Google made an announcement that changed everything for millions of users. They updated their inactive account policy in a way that had never been done before. Previously, if you stopped using your Google account, Google might delete some of your data, but your account would still exist. You could still log back in. Your email address was still yours, but the new policy was different, much different. Under the new rules, if you don't use your Google account for 2 years, Google reserves the right to delete the entire account. Not just the data inside it, the account itself, your Gmail address, your Google Photos, your Drive files, your YouTube channel if you have one, everything. All of it can be permanently erased. And once it's gone forever. There's no recovery, no getting it back. It's like the account never existed in the first place. Now, Google claims this is all about security. And to be fair, they have a point. According to their own internal analysis, abandoned accounts are at least 10 times less likely to have two-step verification set up compared to active accounts. These old forgotten accounts often use outdated passwords, maybe passwords that have been compromised in data breaches, maybe passwords that people used on multiple sites. And because nobody's checking these accounts, nobody notices when something suspicious happens. Hackers love these accounts because they're easy targets. Once a hacker gets into an abandoned account, they can use it for all kinds of malicious activities. Identity theft, sending spam, spreading malware, phishing attacks, the list goes on. So from Google's perspective, deleting inactive accounts reduces security risks. It limits the amount of personal data sitting around unused, and it aligns with industry standards around data retention. But here's what Google doesn't emphasize in their official announcements. Deleting millions of accounts also saves them massive amounts of money. Every account, even an inactive one, takes up storage space on Google's servers. Storage costs money, lots of money. By deleting accounts that haven't been used in 2 years, Google frees up enormous amounts of server space. Space they can then sell to active users through services like Google One. It's a win-win for Google. Better security and lower storage costs. But for regular users, this policy is terrifying. Because, let's be honest, how many of us actually remember every Google account we've ever created? Maybe you made one for a project at work that ended years ago. Maybe you created one to separate your personal and professional life. Maybe you have multiple accounts for different purposes, and you just forgot about one of them. And now, all of those forgotten accounts are at risk. The deletions officially began in December of 2023. That was the earliest date Google said they would start removing accounts. But they didn't just flip a switch and delete everything at once. Instead, they took what they call a phased approach. First, they targeted the easiest cases. Accounts that were created and then never used again. You know those accounts where someone signed up, maybe clicked around for a few minutes and then never came back? Those were the first to go. Google figured if you never actually used the account, you probably won't miss it. But the deletions didn't stop there. Throughout 2024 and into 2025, Google has been steadily expanding the scope of deletions. And now, in early 2026, the policy is in full effect. Real people are receiving real notifications saying their accounts will be deleted, and the deadlines are specific and personal. For example, In April of 2025, a user reported receiving a notification that their account would be deleted by October 15th, 2025. That's just 6 months' notice, 6 months to either log back in and save the account or lose everything forever. And here's the thing that makes this even more complicated. The notifications go to the email address associated with the account. If you never check that email, you'll never see the warning. Google also sends notifications to your recovery email if you set one up. But again, if you don't check that recovery email, or if you never set one up in the first place, you'll miss the warnings entirely. And once the deadline passes, there's no grace period, no last-minute reprieve. The account gets deleted, and that's it. Now, before you panic, let me clarify something important. Not every Google account is at risk. Google has carved out several exceptions to this policy. If your account falls into one of these categories, you're safe, at least for now. First, if your Google account was set up through work, school, or another organization, it's not affected, and this policy only applies to personal Google accounts. So if you use Google Workspace through your employer, or if you have a school-issued Google account, you don't need to worry about this particular policy. Second, if your account has a YouTube channel with uploaded videos, it's considered active. Even if you haven't logged in to do anything else, the existence of those videos keeps your account alive. The same goes for accounts that have purchased apps or content through the Google Play Store. If you've bought an app, a movie, a book, or a subscription that's still current or ongoing, your account is considered active. And if your account contains a gift card with a monetary balance, that also counts as activity. Google isn't going to delete an account that still has money in it. There are a few other exceptions too. If your account manages a minor's account through Family Link, that's considered active. And if you've used your account to purchase any digital item, like a book or a movie, that counts as well. Basically, if there's any financial connection to your account, Google is less likely to delete it. But here's the key point. If your account doesn't fall into one of these exception categories, and you haven't used it in 2 years, it's at risk. And by used, Google has a very specific definition. Signing in counts as activity. Reading or sending an email counts. Watching a YouTube video while signed in counts. Using Google Drive, even just to view a file, counts. Searching on Google while logged in counts. Basically, any action you take while signed into your Google account resets the 2-year clock. But, and this is important, just having the Gmail app on your phone doesn't count. If you're not actively opening it and using it, that's not considered activity. And if you set up email forwarding from your Gmail to another email service, that doesn't count either. Google is looking for actual user activity, actions that you personally take while signed in, not automated processes running in the background. So here's what you need to understand. If you have an old Gmail account that you're not using, and you haven't logged into it since early 2024, you might already be on Google's deletion list. And if you haven't received any notifications yet, it could be because Google is still working through the backlog. Remember, this is a massive undertaking. Google has billions of users. Sorting through all those accounts to determine which ones are truly inactive takes time. So just because you haven't received a warning yet doesn't mean you're safe. In fact, the longer you wait, the more likely it is that your account could be deleted without warning. Because here's something most people don't know. If Google can't reach you at your account email address and you don't have a recovery email set up, they have no way to warn you. Your account could be scheduled for deletion, and you'd have no idea until you try to log in one day and find out it's gone. Now let's talk about what happens if your account does get deleted. What exactly do you lose? The answer is everything. Let's start with Gmail. Every email you've ever sent or received in that account, gone. That includes important emails with attachments, receipts, confirmations, conversations, contacts, all of it. If you've been using Gmail as your primary email for years, think about what that means. Tax documents, medical records, travel, itineraries, family photos sent by email, messages from people who are no longer in your life. All of that disappears permanently. Then there's Google Photos. For many people, this is the most painful loss. Google Photos has become the default backup for millions of smartphone users. It's convenient. It's automatic. And most people assume their photos are safe there forever. But if your account gets deleted, those photos are gone too. Every picture you've ever taken, every video of your kids, every vacation memory, every moment you thought was safely backed up, all of it vanishes in an instant. And there's no way to recover it. Once the account is deleted, those files are permanently erased from Google's servers. Google Drive is another major loss. Think about all the documents, spreadsheets, presentations, and files you've saved there. Work projects, personal records, important documents, all gone. And if you shared any of those files with other people, they lose access too. Even if they saved the files to their own drive, once your account is deleted, those shared files disappear from their view as well. Your Google Calendar also gets wiped. Every appointment, every reminder, every event you've scheduled over the years. And if you use Google Keep for notes, those are gone too. Shopping lists, ideas, reminders, anything you saved in Keep disappears with your account. YouTube is particularly painful for content creators. If you have videos uploaded to YouTube, those videos get deleted when your account is deleted. Even if your channel isn't monetized, even if you only have a few videos, they're all gone. And that doesn't just affect you. If people have bookmarked your videos, or if your videos are embedded on websites, all of those links break. Your content just vanishes from the internet. And then there are the less obvious things. Your search history, your maps history with all your saved places, your YouTube watch history and recommendations, your Chrome bookmarks if you sync them to your account, your Google Fit health and fitness data, your Google Play purchases and app data, your Google Pay transaction history. Everything connected to your Google account gets deleted. It's a complete digital erasure. Now you might be thinking, okay, this sounds serious, but what can I actually do about it? How do I protect myself? The good news is there are several steps you can take right now to make sure you don't lose your data. Let's start with the simplest solution. Just log in. Seriously, if you have old Google accounts that you're not using regularly, log into them at least once every 2 years. Set a reminder on your calendar if you need to. But just logging in resets the inactivity clock. You don't have to do anything complicated. Just sign in, click around for a minute, and you're good for another 2 years. But let's be realistic. Remembering to log into multiple accounts every 2 years isn't practical for most people. And honestly, if you're not using an account, maybe you don't need to keep it active, but you definitely don't want to lose the data inside it. So here's what you should do. Download everything. Google has a tool specifically designed for this. It's called Google Takeout, and it's one of the most important features Google offers, even though most people have never heard of it. Google Takeout allows you to export and download a copy of all your Google data. Everything. Your emails, your photos, your Drive files, your calendar, your contacts, all of it. The process is straightforward, but it does take some time, especially if you have a lot of data. Here's how it works. First, go to takeout.google.com. You'll need to be signed into the account you want to export data from. When you arrive at the Takeout page, you'll see a list of all your Google products. By default, most of them will be selected for export. But you can customize this. If you only want to download specific things, like just your photos or just your emails, you can click Deselect All and then manually choose only the services you want. For most people, I recommend starting with the most important data. Google Photos and Google Drive should be your top priorities. These typically contain irreplaceable memories and important documents. You can always come back and export other things later if you need to. Once you've selected what you want to export, scroll to the bottom and click Next Step. Now you'll see options for how you want to receive your data. You can choose to have Google send you a download link via email, or you can have Google save your data directly to another cloud service, like Dropbox, Microsoft OneDrive, or even back to Google Drive in a different account. For the download link option, Google will prepare your data and then email you when it's ready. Depending on how much data you have, this could take anywhere from a few minutes to several days. Yes, several days. If you have tens of thousands of photos or hundreds of gigabytes of Drive files, the export process takes a while. Be patient. You'll also need to choose the file format. For most people, the default zip format is fine, but you can also choose TGZ if you prefer, and you can set the maximum file size. Google will split your data into multiple files if it's larger than the size you choose. For example, if you have 50 gigabytes of data and you set the file size to 2 gigabytes, Google will create 25 separate files for you to download. Once you've made all your choices, click Create Export. Now you wait. Google will send you an email when your export is ready. And here's an important tip. The download link is only valid for a limited time, usually about a week. If you don't download your files within that time frame, the link expires and you'll have to start the export process over again. So when you get that email, don't wait. Download everything as soon as you can. Now, where should you save all this data? That's a crucial question. If you download it to your computer, make sure you have enough storage space and make sure you have a backup of that backup. Hard drives fail, computers crash. Don't let your only copy of important data sit on a single device. Consider saving it to an external hard drive or upload it to a different cloud service that you actually use. The point is to get your data out of the account that might be deleted and into a place where you control it. But here's something most people don't think about. Even if you download your data, there's still a problem. The format. Google Takeout gives you your data in various file formats depending on what service it came from. Your emails come in Mbox format, your calendar comes in iCalendar format, your contacts come in vCard format. Your photos are usually in JPEG or MP4, which is fine. But your Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides get converted to Microsoft Office formats or PDFs. And here's the thing. Some of these formats aren't easy to... Now, let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention. Google's Inactive Account Manager. This is a feature that lets you decide what happens to your account if you stop using it. You can set it up so that after a certain period of inactivity, your account either gets deleted automatically or trusted contacts get access to download your data. To set this up, go to your Google account settings, click on Data and Privacy, and scroll down until you see Make a Plan for Your Digital Legacy. That's where you'll find the Inactive Account Manager. You can choose how long Google should wait before considering your account inactive. The options range from 3 months to 18 months. And you can choose up to 10 trusted contacts who can access your data if your account becomes inactive. This is particularly useful for situations like serious illness, accidents, or death. If something happens to you, your family or friends can still access your important information. But they only have 3 months to download it. After that, the data gets deleted anyway. This feature is also helpful from a security standpoint. If you ever stop using an account for whatever reason, you know it won't just sit there vulnerable forever. It will either be handed over to people you trust, or it will be securely deleted. Here's another scenario to consider. What if you want to delete an old account yourself, on your own terms? Maybe you've already moved all your data to a new account and you don't need the old one anymore. In that case, you can manually delete your Google account at any time. Go to your account settings, click on Data and Privacy, scroll down to more options, and select Delete your Google account. Google will walk you through the process, but be absolutely certain before you do this. Once you delete your account, it's gone. There's a very short grace period, usually a few weeks, where you might be able to recover it. But after that, deletion is permanent. Now, let's address a common question. What if I receive a notification saying my account will be deleted, but I want to keep it? The answer is simple. Log in. As soon as you log in and use the account, you reset the inactivity timer. Google will cancel the deletion. But you need to do this before the deadline mentioned in the notification. If you wait too long, you might find that the account is already gone by the time you try to log in. And at that point, there's nothing you can do. Google does not restore deleted accounts. Period. Here's another tip that might save you a lot of headaches. Consolidate your accounts. If you have multiple Google accounts, ask yourself if you really need all of them. If you're not using some of them regularly, consider moving the data from those accounts into one primary account that you do use. You can forward emails, transfer photos, and move Drive files. It's more work up front, but it means you only have to worry about keeping one account active instead of juggling multiple accounts. And speaking of multiple accounts, there's a common mistake people make. They think that having the Gmail app on their phone with multiple accounts signed in means all those accounts are active. But that's not necessarily true. If you're not actively checking each account, if you're not reading emails or doing something in each account, Google might still consider those accounts inactive. So don't rely on passive app presence. Actively use your accounts if you want to keep them alive. Let's also talk about what this means for businesses and content creators. If you run a business using a personal Gmail account, you're at risk. Imagine losing all your customer emails, invoices, and records. This is why businesses should use Google Workspace. Workspace accounts are not subject to the inactive account deletion policy. For content creators, especially on YouTube, the stakes are even higher. Your channel is your livelihood. If your account gets deleted, you lose your videos, subscribers, and community. Make sure you're actively using multiple Google services, not just YouTube. Now, I want to address something that makes people angry about this policy: the lack of flexibility. Google's 2-year window is rigid. It doesn't matter if you have a legitimate reason for not using your account. This is why it's important to set up the inactive account manager ahead of time. Now, what about email addresses after deletion? When Google deletes your account, your Gmail address becomes available again. Someone else could create a new account with that same email address. This creates a security risk. They could potentially reset passwords for other services you used that email to sign up for. This is why it's crucial to update your email address on all your important accounts before you lose access to an old Gmail. Another thing to consider is the emotional impact of losing your data. For many people, their Google account holds years of memories. Photos of loved ones who have passed away, emails from relationships that ended, videos of milestones and special moments. Losing all of that isn't just inconvenient. It's emotionally devastating. Here's a reality check. Google is a free service, or at least the basic version is free. And when something is free, you're not the customer. You're the product. Google makes money from your data, from showing you ads, from analyzing your behavior, but they don't owe you anything beyond their terms of service. And their terms clearly state that they can delete inactive accounts. So while it's easy to be angry at Google for this policy, the responsibility ultimately falls on you to protect your own data. Always have backups, always have a plan. Now let's talk about some of the technical details. When you sign into your Google account, Google logs that activity, but it's not just about signing in. It's about what you do after you sign in. If you log in and immediately log out without doing anything, that might not be enough. Google is looking for meaningful engagement. reading an email, sending an email, uploading a photo, watching a video, editing a document. These are the kinds of activities that clearly demonstrate you're using your account, but automated actions don't count. For example, if you have a script that automatically backs up your photos to Google Photos, that doesn't count as user activity. Google wants to see human interaction. The activity has to be something you personally do. This is important because some people think they can set up automated processes to keep their accounts active, but that's not how it works. Another technical detail: Google tracks activity across all your devices. If you log in on your phone, that counts. If you log in on your laptop, that counts. It doesn't matter which device you use. As long as you're signed in and doing something, you're generating activity. But again, just being signed in isn't enough. You have to actively use the account. Now let's talk about some real-world examples. People are already receiving deletion notifications. In April 2025, a user reported getting a notification that their old test account would be deleted by October 15th. They had forgotten about it completely. If they hadn't checked, the account would have been deleted without them knowing. Another user tried to log in to an old work account and discovered it was gone. All their old work emails, records of projects, contact information, all gone. They contacted Google support but were told there was nothing that could be done. These stories are not rare. They're becoming increasingly more common as Google continues to ramp up enforcement of their inactive account policy across the platform. And the worst part is, most people don't realize they're at risk until it's too late and their data is permanently gone. So here's what I want you to do right now, today. Take a few minutes and think about all the Google accounts you've ever created. The one you use for personal stuff, the one you might have used for work, the one you created for a side project, the one you set up as a backup. I could write them all down. Then, one by one, log into each account. Make sure you can still access them. Make sure you remember the passwords. If you can't log in, use the account recovery process right away. Don't wait. Once you've confirmed you can access all your accounts, decide which ones you actually need to keep. For the ones you want to keep, set a reminder to log in at least once a year. For the ones you don't need, download your data using Google Takeout, and then either delete the account yourself or just let it become inactive and let Google delete it eventually. But do not leave important data sitting in an account you never check. That's a recipe for disaster. And please, tell your family and friends about this. So many people have no idea this policy exists. Share this information. Post about it on social media. Send an email to your contacts. Help others avoid losing their precious memories and important data. In conclusion, Google's inactive account purge is real, it's ongoing, and it affects millions of people. The deletion started in December 2023 and have been ramping up ever since. If you have a Google account that you haven't used in close to 2 years, you are at risk. Google will send you notifications, but only if they can reach you. And if you miss those notifications, your account will be deleted, everything in it, your emails, photos, documents, everything, gone forever. But you can protect yourself. Log into your old accounts, download your data using Google Takeout, enable two-step verification, set up the inactive account manager, update your recovery information, and most importantly, be proactive. Don't wait until you get a deletion notice. Act now while you still have time. Your digital life is valuable. Your memories are irreplaceable. Don't let them vanish because of a policy you didn't know about. Take control. Back up your data, protect your accounts, and make sure that when you look back years from now, all your important memories and information are still there, safe and accessible. Thank you for watching, and please take action today. Your future self will thank you.